The following is a presentation of the Missouri Sports Network. Huddle up here on the Missouri Sports Network inside the Bambino studio. We are here. It is we're two peas in a pod. We look just alike. We're identical twins. Can't you tell? That's my main man, Guy Newcomb, the scoreboard guy. I'm Johnny Mack. The coach DA is on assignment. We put him on the injured list. He's on IL. He's out. He's hurt with a sore vocal cord. That's what we're going to call it. And that's because we can do that. Hey, we're glad you're here. Big fella, we got a lot to get in. We kind of behind a couple of weeks, had some things happening, but man, we got to talk MSU football. We got to talk Mizzou. We got to talk some college, area college scores and scores from around the state. We got to talk about high school football and realignment. We got to talk about the Glendale Kickapoo game coming up on Friday. That's going to have a lot of undertones there, some rivalry things with a lot of cases and a lot of innuendos been thrown around. Big fella, it's a lot going on out there. How you feeling?
I am feeling good, and I tell you what, I love the weather. It was finally football weather this weekend. Got down in. I woke up at Saturday morning at 6 a.m. It's 40 degrees outside. I can smell the popcorn and the hot dogs over at SBU had homecoming, and there was a lot of folks in town. And now it's all about the matchup tonight with the Chiefs and the Broncos, and this ain't a rivalry. You can't have a rivalry when one side is the hammer and one's the nail. It has the last time the freaking Broncos beat the Chiefs, you and I had hair. It's been a long time ago, 2015.
I did have a little hair then. I got a little bit now, but it's going away quick, I can tell you that. Big fella, what's going on with the Missouri State Bears? And I tell you what, Dakota State came in town off of a rare loss like that in season. And it didn't look like the North Dakota team of the past, but they still have enough talent to outplay the Bears, which is frustrating being a former Bear. What are your thoughts? Where do we go from here? Is MSU gonna just lay it down and go one in the next 6 or 5? What are you saying, big fella?
Well, I tell you what, they've gotten a lot bigger up front, but apparently they can't protect their quarterback because he's out for the season.
Yeah,
Jacob Clark is going to take a red shirt, which is going to give him 2 more years. And the one bright side of this season is that the Bears are leading the conference in passing yards. They're 3rd or 4th in the nation in passing yards. Another bright spot is they go to Macomb. They've got Western Illinois, who's 0-5. And they have to win this game. And it's an historic trip. It'll be the last time they go to Macomb as Western Illinois is going out of the conference and getting into the Ohio Valley. So I think you go up there, you get a win there. Then you got Murray State and it's homecoming. You got to get a couple wins here and get the ship righted. But you're going to do it with Peugeot, a backup quarterback who had some good numbers against North Dakota State. But 38-10. They got to figure out how to keep people out of the end zone.
You're absolutely right. I'm telling you what, that Macombs trip is not going to be a fun one. It's a tough place to play. With the environment up there is a little bit different. But I can tell you this. We're all rooting for them. But, man, I wanted to see more this year. I was hoping that there was going to be some at least gave North Dakota State a challenge. And I mean, the game wasn't as bad as a score, but it was never in doubt. I thought Missouri State had some opportunities to make some plays and didn't make them. It's just sad. But you know what? I can tell you about a team that is making plays. And I'm telling you what, K-State went up there, and they Mizzou, the old Tigers, handled them. They jumped on the road and got into Vandy a little bit, and then they came home. And I'm telling you what, LSU's defense is never it used to be, and I don't think it's ever been as bad as it is. And Mizzou, I think, gave one away to LSU. I thought they had them. What are your thoughts there, Nuke?
Yeah, I think they gave it away. I mean, they got outscored 22-7, in the fourth quarter, and they lose by 10. They get outscored by 15. They had a 25-17 lead at half, I believe. Just let it kind of get away, and an interception, turning the ball over really hurt them. But the one bright spot, hey, they're 5-1. They got Kentucky and South Carolina next up before they have to go to Athens, Georgia. You go out and get those 2 wins, you're bowl eligible. Makes that extension on Drinkwitz contract last year at this time look a little better. And Luther Burden is having a year. I mean, he's leading the nation in receiving.
He's the deal.
He is, and Brady Cook is, 5th in passing.
Yeah.
So offensively they can do it. They're kind of in a similar situation as Missouri State. They're just having trouble keeping people out of the end zone and having trouble turning the ball over.
Yeah, and I tell you what, if you're a man that plays the numbers, I can tell you this. That pick six at the end of that toward the end of that game, that turned some people around. That turned some numbers around. It's not nearly as bad if you play like that. If you're into the numbers, it's not nearly as bad as Patrick Mahomes kneeling down when they played the Jets, and some people did not get a chance to cover. And I think old Patrick had some words that got thrown at him after that game. But, I do like the way Mizzou is playing, especially on the offensive side of the ball. They got a little fire. They're stretching the field. But when you get a chance to beat a powerhouse like LSU, you just got to do it. And I just thought they let one slip away. And I'm telling you what, Kentucky got beat up pretty bad against Georgia last weekend, so they're going to be looking to rebound. So I mean, they got the work cut out for them, big fella. But with all that being said, Nuke, SBU, Evangel, I'm not really sure if they're going to hold up in their conferences, but I need you to tell me, is SBU on a track to have a winning season, or do you think it'll be a season in which they just kind of start doing some rebuilding and then kind of look forward to next year?
Well, I think right now they're 2-4, on the season. They did get a win on homecoming over McKendree University out of Illinois. They got Missouri S&T coming up at home this week too. That's a game I think that's winnable for them. Then they go to Upper Iowa. I think they're going to struggle maybe to get to 500. I think that's maybe a goal right now, is maybe to finish the season at 500. You go back 3 weeks ago, they got beat 86-7, by Texas Permian Basin, and that's a team that they beat last year. So evidently they've had some success in the transfer portal. But I think Coach Clardy does a good job. He's been here. This is his 10th year as a head coach here. He played here. He was an All-American here. He's a local kid too. He played high school football at Marshfield. I think he's going to get some rope, but he needs to. I mean, 3 years ago they went 10-1, won the conference, and went to a playoff game. They've just struggled ever since then. But as you look at, and then Evangel's kind of running away with it right now. They jumped out of the Heart of America Conference into the KCAC. That their first 6 games were against the other side. Now they've got their 5 remaining are against teams on their side, and 2 of those teams are nationally ranked. And Evangel had a bye week this past week, and even on a bye week they jumped up 3 spots. So in front of them, kind of lost. They went from 18th to 15th, and Coach Hepla, always a great guy at the quarterback club. He's very informative and he's very loyal, and he doesn't miss. And he was there, and we sat around for about an hour just visiting about Evangel football and some of his background, and obviously he played at Willard, so he's got a local connection there as well. And so it was a lot of fun to visit with him. But no, that's kind of what the local colleges here right now are doing on the football side. You root for all of them. You want everybody to do well. Right now, I think Missouri State's they're at the end of the rope right now. They've got Coach Beard's got to get some things changed around, and losing a quarterback, midway through the season, that's going to be tough.
That I guarantee you, he's not happy about that. But someone has to just step up and make it happen. So I tell you what, we're rooting for them all. We just want to give y'all an area football roundup. What we're going to do, we're going to take a short break. We're going to come back and talk a little bit NFL and break down some things there. Talk a little bit about the Chiefs and what they're doing. Still talk about prime time out there in Colorado and what he's doing. And then after that, we're going to jump into some high school football. So don't go anywhere. Right now, you're listening to Huddle Up here inside the Bambino Studios on the Missouri Sports Network. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
The Walnut Street Inn is located in the heart of Springfield on historic Walnut Street, just blocks away from the Missouri State campus, Hammonds Field, Great Southern Arena, and downtown Springfield. The Walnut Street Inn features newly remodeled rooms, breakfast served daily, and a friendly, accommodating staff. The Walnut Street Inn is also a great venue for private events. Book your stay or get more information at walnutstreetinn.com or call 417-864-6346.
With Johnny Mac inside of the Bambino studio with my main man, Guy Nuke, Scoreboard Guy, right here, Huddle Up. We're doing it on the Missouri Sports Network. Like I said, we put DA on the IL. He's a little bit hurt, a little bit injured. Got a sore throwing shoulder. That's what he said. Wah, not feeling well. That's all right, DA. We're gonna sit here. We're gonna talk a little Chiefs for you, my friend. Look, Kansas City does what it does. Right now, they know how to win games against teams they should beat. But I'm telling you, and if anybody wants to argue this, get on the Twitter, and it's a wrap. It's over. There's no Super Bowl coming. Travis Kelce is 34 years old. Holmes doesn't have the receivers. They're not working like that. They snuck one in last year because old Jalen Hurts just happened to drop the football while he's just running down the line. Who does that? And I'm telling you, they got two of them. They should be happy. Won't be any more parades. You won't be going to the plaza screaming Chiefs. It's a wrap, big fella. All right, they got Denver this week. What do you say about that? It's a win. But before we talk about the schedule, do you think, I just want to put you on record, they got another Super Bowl in them or not?
I think they've got an opportunity to make a run, but I'm with you. It's I'm starting to feel like a little bit like Travis Kelce's lost his fastball, and without the guys on the outside of him that can go downfield and catch the ball, it puts him in a bad spot because he's getting double teamed. I mean, he averaged over 12.5 yards per catch a year ago, and now he's down under 7. Because he's getting over undered, and the injuries at the beginning of the year. You don't discount that.
You can't get over under if you're running 7-yard routes. I can go out there and run a 7-yard route. He ain't doing nothing. It's over with. It's a wrap, Chiefs fans. Have fun. Don't go buy your Super Bowl tickets. It ain't happening. Now you tell me, do you think Mahomes still got it in him? What do you think gonna look like at the end of the year, big fella?
Well, right now, if you project them out, is at 4,400 yards and 24 touchdowns. That's the worst year he's had in his career, including a year he was hurt. And he's getting an extra game the last 2 years he's played 17 instead of 16.
Yeah.
He's not going to throw the 50 touchdowns. Number one, he ain't got guys who can catch the ball. And I think part of it too is they got Pacheco in the backfield, and they got one of the best offensive lines in the league. And this guy runs. He runs angry. He pounds the ground with his feet. It is so much fun to watch. He always falls forward.
Yeah.
You're not gonna just tackle him up around the shoulders.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to get him and get a hold of his legs. I've been impressed with that kid all season.
Yeah, last year he had the chip. He runs like he's straight up mad at somebody. Like you just stole something from him and he's coming to get it. Yeah. He's really mad when he runs. But I mean, here's the thing. Their schedule, big fella, when you look at their schedule and you go, well, look, they're going to win 9 or 10 games just because of who they play.
Right.
And if you look at it, you got it. Who do you see them losing to in the next 5 games? Who they got?
I don't see them losing in the next 5 games. They're definitely not going to lose to the Broncos. And then they've got the Chargers. Nope. But they got them at home, and then they go to the Broncos, and then they've got the Dolphins, and that could be interesting.
Yep.
Um,
That's a
playing
loss.
the Dolphins, but that's
a loss.
that's November 5th. But Etienne, I don't know if you've seen this kid from the Dolphins run. He's leading the league. He's 12.9 yards per carry.
Yeah.
He just got put on the IR today.
Yeah,
So
that's a bad deal.
He's out for 4 games.
Yeah.
And which will put him out. He won't be eligible to play in that Chiefs game, and that's in Germany. So he's not even going to make the flight over there. And it's and that guy's a 4.3 940.
Oh.
And it is unbelievable the stuff he has done this year. They scored 70 points against Denver.
It's ridiculous of some of the things they can do. But then they lost to Buffalo the following week. But, I mean, here's the deal. The NFL, it has some parity. I wouldn't be surprised if the Chiefs lost to the Chargers. I wouldn't. And I wouldn't be surprised at all. I wouldn't be surprised they lost Miami. And I don't think the Raiders have anything going. They did sneak out a win on Monday night. So I think those are some victories. But and I think when they play this week, I think the Chiefs are beat up on Denver. But Denver traditionally plays them close at home, so there's a little bit of line saying they should win by 10.5. And I'm not really sure, but I wouldn't bet against the Chiefs. I just think for me and for those of you listening, it's a wrap. It's over. There's no more Super Bowl. And if you want some smoke, come find me. I will tell you to your face. It's not happening. That the magic's not there right now. There's something missing. And when Kelsey failed that non-contact injury, spoken from someone who has torn his Achilles, I thought he had torn his Achilles.
I thought at least he had torn an ACL. Yeah. I mean, the best possible scenario was an ankle sprain.
Yeah.
And that's what it ended up. And when he got up and walked off the field on his own, I thought, okay, it's not an Achilles or an ACL. Yeah. It's probably just an ankle or a foot, maybe a high ankle sprain, something like that. Cool. But he comes back in the fourth quarter, scores a winning touchdown. So,
well, let me say this to our listeners. I didn't want to bring this up, but I'm gonna have to do it. Guy Newcomb is a closet Taylor Swift fan. Now, we were over there barbecuing last week, and he didn't. I did not let him know when I got there. He just knew I was coming up. And when I walked up to his door, it was open, and Taylor Swift was playing. And I said, "What is going on right now?" And he said, "Big fella, I'm a Swiftie." And I couldn't believe it. America, I lost my mind. Guy Newcomb, your scoreboard guy, is a Taylor Swift fan. I think the NFL just overdid it.
What color is the sky in your world, man? I couldn't even name a Taylor Swift song. I couldn't pick her out of a crowd.
They overdid that Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce little scenario to the point where it started making people mad. And no one wanted to see it anymore. But it was a little bit interesting, a little bit creepy a little bit to see him out in the town. And it's just a bad deal. But big fella, let's switch it up a little bit. And I just want to bring this up to our listeners because I am a prime-time fan. So they were in Colorado. They are 4-2. They play Stanford here on Friday night. I'm going to give them 5-2. And he wins one more, he'll be bowl eligible. I'm telling you now, Oregon beat them up pretty bad. And USC had them on the ropes. But I'm telling you what, they fight. They fight, big fella.
Well, I tell you what, that USC game, that impressed the heck out of me. I mean, they lose by 7 points there. USC's I think they were a 22-point favorite or something, at the beginning of the year. And that number went down dramatically as they got their first couple of wins. But to rebound after a 42-6 loss to Oregon, and then you're taking on the number 10 ranked team in the country with the maybe Heisman Trophy, back-to-back Heisman Trophy winner at quarterback. That was impressive, and they get the late field goal to win against Arizona State last week. I think they beat Stanford, but then they go to UCLA, who's nationally ranked. But yep, and then they've got Oregon State coming in. So
I think they're looking at putting in together about 7-8 wins. They don't want to see Utah, but Utah's not as scoring like they used to be. So I just want to say this: prime time. I just like saying that. Hey, we're gonna get out of here. We're gonna take a short break, and we're gonna be right back because there's some things that are happening in the local football landscape. that are going to change some things. Things are going to be different. They're not going to be the way they seem anymore. What you know is not going to be what you know tomorrow. Today's price is not yesterday's price. It's going to be a little different. Don't go anywhere. You listen to Huddle Up here inside the Bambino studio on the Missouri Sports Network. We'll be right back.
Chevy Silverado. It's got the power you want and the capability you need to do the job, so you can get to the important work. Find new moments, find new roads. Get a $500 cash allowance on all 2022 Silverado pickups with a 2.7-liter turbo engine. Plus, unlock your code to claim $500 Chevy CyberCash. Visit ChevyCyberCash.com today.
We believe banking should make your life greater. It starts with affordable options to meet today's needs and tomorrow's dreams. From smart account options that fit your style to flexible loans for what comes next. It means convenient ways to access and manage your money whenever you need it and wherever you're headed. Most of all, it takes great support. Someone you can count on for trusted guidance and to be there for you every step of the way. Great options, great convenience, great support for life. Great Southern Bank, understanding what really matters.
Welcome back to Two Good Looking Fellas. Welcome back to Huddle Up here on the Missouri Sports Network inside the Bambinos studio. I'm Johnny Mack. That's my friend there, my main man, my guy Newcomb. Hey, high school football. This that time of year. The weather's right. You can feel the chill in the air, and it's just a lot going on. We got some big games on the schedule this week, and I'm just going to tell you right now. My daughter is in the band at Kickapoo, so I will be at every Kickapoo home game, and I'm looking forward to this one more so than the others because Kickapoo is hosting Glendale, and we're going to see two probably evenly matched teams. I think I might give the edge to Kickapoo, big fella. What are your thoughts on this game coming up?
Well, I'm with you. I think Kickapoo's probably 2 or 3 touchdowns better. They've got outside of the kind of Lindstrom kid, the defensive end for Glendale, they've probably got the better athletes on the field. They're deeper and they're a little bit bigger than Glendale. And of course, Glendale they've got a new coach. Of course, now he's kind of seasoned now. But and Joel Heyman, not a new coach, not even a new coach to Glendale. He spent 10 years there.
Nope, I know Joel. Played with him.
And so it's just going to be an uphill struggle for them. There's like you mentioned, there's some outside influence that's going on in this game as well. But I'm interested to see the outcome. Interested to see what happens, during the game. I'll be watching right here on one of these screens right behind me, right here in the Bambino studio for getting ready for Friday Night Live. But there are a lot of big games. You look around the state. You got Class 6 Lee Summit West at Lee Summit North, and they're both state ranked. Lee Summit North ranked number 1. Lee Summit West, a perennial ranking. I mean, they're ranked number 8, I believe, in the country, in the state. You got Lebanon, Camdenton, which I think Lebanon is probably 2 or 3 touchdowns better than Camdenton, but that is a huge rivalry game. They no matter, you can kind of throw the records out. I mean, that's just a rivalry game. You got Cardinal Ritter. They're going to Hillsboro. In Class 4, Hillsboro is ranked number 3 at number 1 Cardinal Ritter. That's a big game. Coming up. So and Maryville takes on Savannah. Maryville beat Lutheran North last weekend on a Saturday, and that surprised the heck out of me. Mm-hmm. I did not think Lutheran North would lose the entire year. Maryville, of course, they're perennial. I mean, I actually covered a high school state championship game when they played Mount Vernon 5 years ago in the state championship. They won like 65-10. They're very good. So, and Savannah comes in state ranked. So a lot of great games around the state.
A lot of great games. Let me put my little 2 cents in for what it's worth. I'm happy that the kid at Glendale will get to play. I'm not going to go into names, but I'm glad he'll get a chance to play. For what it's worth, I'm pro kids. Let the kids play. And I just felt like that having seen the kid operate, he seems to be like a fairly nice kid. I didn't never notice anything that was inappropriate when I seen him on the sideline. So let's just have – if you're going to go out to the game, just root on the teams and let those things play themselves out. There's a lot of legal issues going on that we're not going to get in here on the Missouri Sports Network or on Huddle Up. But I'm excited to see that game. But here's what I do know. That conference will not look the same next year. And there's going to be some conferences that will look different next year. Nuke, tell them what's going on.
Well, it started, about 2 weeks ago when you had 3 teams leave the Big 8 conference with Hollister, Reed Spring, and Springfield Catholic going into the Mid-Lakes. And that kind of started it a little bit. And so you got Bolivar and West Plains that got out of the Ozark Conference. You got Branson and Carl Junction got out of the Central Ozark Conference. And you had and then Marshfield and Rogersville got out of the Big 8 on the east side, and they formed their own conference called the Ozark Mountain Conference. So there's 6 teams in it right now. I don't know if that's where it's going to stop. Teams, folks are talking about maybe Hillcrest because numbers wise they fit more. They're Class 4 in football. They fit more into that conference, but I don't think SPS would ever allow their schools to be split up. I think they're going to keep all 5 of those schools in the same conference, although Central is not in it in football. And Central's still, an independent, so they're still kind of looking for a conference that they can fit in and compete in. So that may be an option there. So, but you went down to 9 teams in the Big 8, which was, I think, 14. You went down to 9 teams there. So you've just got to find one non-conference game if you're a Big 8 team. But you go down to 8 teams in the COC and 8 teams in the Ozark Conference. So now you got to find 2 games, to fill that spot. Now, West Plains, they'll probably still maybe play an Ozark Conference, school, maybe a Camdenton, maybe, something over that way. But then there's an opportunity maybe for Camdenton, Rolla, Waynesville, and Lebanon to stay together and go north into the Jeff City area and pick up a Columbia Battle, a Jeff City Elias, a Columbia Hickman, a Rockbridge, and make their own conference there because they're about the same distance from Jeff City, Columbia as they are from Springfield. So it's probably not done yet, but I'm looking forward to see how the schedules come out. This just broke today. They've been talking about it, since Hollister and Reed Spring and Springfield Catholic left the Big 8, but it's going to look a lot different next year.
Wow, that's just that one. When I first heard that one, that kind of blew me away. I didn't see it coming. Of course, you maybe had a little bit more inside knowledge than I did, but man, things are going to be changing. Some different rivalries are going to form. So, man, who really knows what's going to happen, how it's all going to play out. But we do know those teams are gone, and they've made it publicly. They've announced it publicly. So good luck to them in their new conference. Big fella, every Monday you do a thing called the Quarterback Club.
Yes, we do. Bambinos.
Bambinos.
Hey, it is, it's kind of like church. You go in there and sit down and you see the same people sitting in the same spots, but we invite more people to come, be a part of it. And occasionally we'll get some new ones come in, but it was always called the Springfield Quarterback Club. And now it's the Springfield Area Quarterback Club. So we bring in teams like a Willard and a Marshfield, a Stratford,
Sure.
Fair Grove, Ozark, Nixa have been a part of it, Rogersville, Mount Vernon. That's probably our furthest out right now, but come sit down. The food is tremendous. And the room is great. We've got a speaker system set up. I go over and pick up Art and drive him, and he MCs the whole thing. So it's a good opportunity for folks to kind of get out and see Art. Art Haynes comes as part of it. Coach Rowe does not miss. Even if he's late, he still comes and is a part of it. So I invite you to come on out. Come out between 11:30 and 12 at Bambinos at Lone Pine and East Battlefield, and right there at Half a Hill. And it's a lot of fun.
It is, big fella. And I'm very proud of how you kind of made sure that tradition continues. And I'm very proud that Missouri Sports Network is affiliated with the Springfield Area Quarterback Club. Hey, it's been a great show. We got a lot we wanted to talk about, and we got it off our chest. And so we appreciate our listeners for tuning in. God, tell them what's happening on Friday so everyone know where to get the latest scores and hear the coaches after the game speak.
Well, we start with high school game day that comes on about 5 o'clock. We kind of interview some of our athletes of the week, teams of the week, and we go through kind of the schedule, some of the big games. That goes live at 5 on Fridays, and then at 9:30, once again, we're live on YouTube. We're live on MissouriSportsNetwork.com. We're live on Twitter. We got all the scores from around the state, and we have coaches call in from around the state. We'll have a Kansas City area coach call in, a St. Louis area coach, a Southeast Missouri coach, a couple of Southwest Missouri coaches. We try and get 7 or 8 coaches on in that time. We run through all the scores, and by the end of it, I'm hoarse because it takes me about 10 minutes just to get through the scores. So we thank goodness we got Bambinos and Great Southern Bank and those guys as sponsors, so we can run some commercials, so I can get some water.
Yeah.
And then Fairhaven at the Cove. That's a 2.5 minute break, so that's a bathroom break for me. So if I need to that, but before I get off here, I just want everybody to know I am not a Swiftie. Okay?
Don't let them fool you, everyone. Hey, we appreciate you listening. Hey, come back again next week. This is what we do. DA will be back with us next week. Hopefully, if not, we might keep him down for 4 weeks on the IL. All right. Hey, you've been listening to Huddle Up here on the Bambinos, here inside the Bambinos studio on the Missouri Sports Network. We appreciate you. Right now, I'm going to say for the whole crew here, adios, amigos. We are out.
This has been a presentation of the Missouri Sports Network. Thank you for tuning in.